Palmetto State Armory KS47, I have good news for you guys. Good news. Let me summarize in this intro what I'm talking about. Who would have thought that it would be Palmetto State Armory that would break the chain of failures for AR47s in TMP?
I couldn't hear.
PSA? I never would have thought it. But it has, and it did. As you will see when we talk about how did it shoot, this is a great gun if this one example is any indication. We'll talk all about it. We'll talk about the features, how did it shoot, and would I buy it? The three big talking points of my GRVs. It's been that way for a long time. Now, if you clicked on the video and you are expecting a 7-minute tabletop review on the KS47, the lowdown on the details, how did it shoot, this ain't it. Sorry, bro. It's not. That's not how I do tabletop reviews. It's been that way for a long time. Sure, I could rack out a 7-minute video, no problem. But that's boring. It's uninteresting, and just go to the manufacturer's website and find all that stuff out by yourself. Or click on an article. There's a bunch of them online about this gun. No, what I do is I ground the discussion in philosophy, and that's the way I roll. If you are in a hurry, however, you can go to the YouTube screen, look in the lower right-hand corner, you see a gear. That's the settings button. Click on 1.5 or 2 times speed. You'll hear me talking really fast, and you'll scream through this video, which I suspect will be about 25 to 30 minutes. I suspect. I could be completely off. I don't know. Yes, we have had a chain of failures of AR47s. That's what I call them. I think most people refer to them that way. It is an AR platform chambered in, of course, 7.6239. I haven't tested a ton of them, to be honest. I haven't. But the ones I have tested did not do well, and they were extremely unreliable, they weren't that accurate, and they were a fail in my book. This is going to be an interesting discussion, getting to that philosophy, of why you would even pursue an AR47. Why? It's a good question. I mean, if someone were to ask me, hey, nutnfancy, don't you love the AK variant platform? The answer is absolutely I do. Here's one of ours right here. So this was once upon a time a Sega, Russian produced, AK variant, and I modified it. And it is super high quality, it makes me happy. It is a GTW system in the nutnfancy clan. Totally is. I have a whole video out about what we did to modify these. You're seeing all the mag pull components on it. It added some weight, for sure. That is one of the downsides. I will hit again, I'll visit that again. But it is a go-to-war system for me. The question is, why would you go from something like this, especially when it's modified? I mean, you've got glass on it, you got an RS regulate, you've got all the furniture you like on nutnfancy. Why even pursue an AR47? That's a great question. It really is. And the answer for me, it might be different for you, but the answer for me is weight and accuracy. That's why. For me, the battery of arms is not a factor. In other words, some guys will quote that. They'll say, well, I'm used to shooting an AR, and I don't really want to have to come out and train with an AK system when all I know is an AR system. I get that. I would think a shooter should be more versatile, and I don't think it would take much more than 1 day of training to get proficient at it if you have someone who knows what they're talking about, who's a good instructor, and practice, shooting a lot. Shoot, 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 practice, critique a little bit, shoot, 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 and you can get either system down at least to a proficient, level. You're not going to be some slick operator, or better said, a competitor that's going to be finishing in the top 5. Well, maybe you are if you're just naturally talented, but you'll get good at it. No, that's not in the realm for me. In other words, I feel equally at home running an AR, equally at home running an AK variant system. I've talked about this a lot in the tabletops. For me, it's weight and it's accuracy. Two things where even this modified AK variant rifle falls short on. With the RS Regulate mount, this is a stamped receiver. I'm going to have some movement on it. I'm going to have some variability on the side mount. It's not ideal. Yeah, we can pursue some top cover optics mount options. They all add weight. Definitely a lot of expense, just like this did. This is an expensive mount. The RS Regulate system is very expensive. All of that. But it's still not superbly accurate. On a good day with really good ammo, we're looking at about 2 MOA if everything's going well with this system. Once in a while I'll shoot better than that, but not usually. 3 to 4 is generally standard on a stamped receiver AK. You might ask, well, why didn't you get a milled receiver AK? It's more solid. If you side mount an optics rail on it, you're going to have less variability. I would agree with that, but now we're adding, again, remember point 2, weight. And this is not ultimately light, even at how I have it set up. I don't know if I have the weight on this written down. I'm not going to weigh it, but it's over 8 pounds. It's probably 8 pounds, 10 ounces with the glass, RS Regulate, mag pull in there. It's heavy. So it's not superbly accurate. It's not superbly light. Why do you keep it nutnfancy? Because the job, speaking of POU, of this system isn't to be a 300 meter gun. It's like 0 to 100. And in that realm, it will rule. Plenty accurate, and it's extremely reliable. Fast firing, and I love, love, love the 7.62 cartridge. 30 cal, firepower, I should say hitting power. Firepower too, but hitting power, that's why. Do I prefer it over an AR system? Well, if I'm running an AR with 77 grains, the answer is probably not. They're neck and neck. Over an AR running 55s? Yeah, I do. So the answer to the question is, why would you pursue an AR47 like the Palmetto State Armory KS47? One is weight. This thing, without the mount on it, I'm just talking with a magazine, I think I weighed it with this magazine in it, 7 pounds, 2 ounces. Doot, doot. Thumbs up alert, thumbs up alert, thumbs up alert for PSA. So that is in the ballpark. And I look at this gun, we're going to go over features, and I don't see them making too many shortcuts to get that weight. Primarily, barrel.
Start recording.
Yeah, I said it like that. Barrel. That's how a lot of manufacturers cut weight. They'll give you an M4 profile barrel, and their excuse is, well, we want it to be more like mil spec. You're not going to see that in the PSA KS47. They didn't do that. They did this. We'll talk about that. That's a little bit of a weight saver, cost saver for sure. But you're going to see the core is competent. And then when we get to how it's shot, we'll look at accuracy. And we'll see if that second point is satisfied. Where you, as a systems operator, civilian sheepdog, you know, pro-constitutional law enforcement officer, military member, contractor, whoever, you go, hey, do I integrate this, the PSA KS47, into my system versus an AK variant? Maybe you are like me. Maybe you have the exact same criteria. Hey, I want it to be lightweight. I want it to be accurate. Kind of like a lot of really excellent AR-15s are, except we want a 7.62 chambering. Yes. So let's get into, I guess, what I tested before. And we did the Rock River Arms. Again, that didn't shoot well. We did the CMMG Mutant. That did not shoot well. And of course, you know, in the comments of those reviews, you will see people who go, hey, I have the gun and it shoots very well for me. And that could very well be the case. But I bring to table my data. So if the gun shoots very well, you'll hear about it. If it didn't shoot that well, I'll try to fix it. I'll try to lubricate it. I'll take it apart. I'll investigate it. But I'm not no gunsmith. I'm not going to do anything extravagant to get it working. It should just work. And that's what I bring to tabletop. And there might be another one that I forgot.
Awesome. Good start.
It's been kind of my mission to find an AR-47 that's accurate and reliable. And let me add this, cost effective.
When it shoots.
To tabletop to recommend to my TMPers.
I don't know, maybe we could oil it a little bit. See what happens.
There's the bottom line right there. No doubt, a lot of you guys have put together your own component AR-47s. I think that is awesome. I advocate it. You will not enjoy the PSA lifetime warranty on this one. You may have some compatibility problems, and I do hear about a lot of reliability problems when guys put together their own AR-47s. This isn't working, that isn't working. They do a lot of experimentation. Sometimes they get them working really good. I hear about it. Guys are like, yeah, it's running great, and I saved a lot of money. That is definitely a route to go. definitely. But I'm reviewing a factory produced one here for guys that just want a turnkey warranted option. Here we go. As far as I know, they're still producing this. I think it is a very popular platform for PSA. I will insert here my criticism, deserved by the way, of their website. It is awful. PSA's website is thoroughly confusing. There's no easy way to get to the ready-made rifles because they sell a lot of components, a lot of kits for different ARs. Heck, for this gun they even have a kit for the KS47. That's okay, but I said it before in another Palmetto State Armory AR-15 review, which was not super positive, by the way, because it did not shoot great with us. But I said there, I was like, hey man, you should just break it out. I mean, completed guns, here you go. Show me the specs, the materials, the specifications, and that is very convoluted on PSA's website. There, I said it. Moving on. Features of this. Did I mention the weight? Oh yes, I did. 7 pounds, 2 ounces. That is pretty excellent.
Go high.
Pretty excellent. Yeah, I'm excited about it. Let's start up here as we do a flyby on the features. Remember I talked about the barrel dudes? Do you see an M4 profile barrel on this KS47? I don't. I see basically a full thickness profile barrel, and it is made of 4150 steel, 16 inches. It is a carbine gas system, 1 in 10 twist. It is threaded 5/8 by 24 up here. Wearing an A2 birdcage right now. I did not can this gun for testing. We just kind of ran it as is, and it worked great. But they didn't try to save weight by putting on a skinny barrel. Congratulations. And I've said this about the Segas and a lot of different AK variants, sorry. They have skinny barrels. Yeah, they're super high quality. They're Hammer 4s. They're awesome. But this is a 30 caliber projectile, and heat is an issue. And yeah, I do see stringing in some AK variant rifles. I would have loved to have this, maybe not quite as thick as this, but thicker. I've said that so many times. Yeah, it shoots fine. Yeah, they tie them into the Russian factories as a demo. When the barrel's heated, they tie them into like a bow or something to prove how strong they are. Cool, but that's just me. Here you're going to see a full thickness barrel. I didn't measure it, but you can see it. The handguard is PSA's own. It's called a slim key mod, I think. And insert my standard support for key mod. It's fine. For anything that you would realistically do, it's fine. Now, if you have M-LOK, rock on. Just stick to whatever system you have. But I think they're putting on the KS47s this particular handguard. One advantage of this over the Mutant, among other things, is that it's much slimmer. If I'm remembering right, one of the things I did not like on the Mutant, and I will try to find some video inset footage for you guys, is the handguard. It was kind of fat. And the Mutant is actually built as an AR-10, if I'm remembering right. It's kind of got an AR-10 size. It's got an AR-10 style bolt carrier group. This one is built more on an AR-15, the KS47. Maybe that explains the weight. Maybe. I love the handguard though. I would not swap out the handguard, and that is not just expense, but it's time. It's time. I mean, granted, this one's easy. I don't have a front sight base to take off. It seems like it didn't rotate on us, didn't slip on us. That's all good. You can see some anti-rotational tabs on this one. Cool. And you could probably slip this one off a lot quicker than some. But I mean, if you get one like Rock Rivers, dude, you better block out an afternoon, because they put a permanent thread sealer on that, and I've had to destroy the handguard to take them off Rock River guns. But this one, you could swap it out, but why? It's fine. Oh, I hate key mod. Okay, swap it out then. And then you could probably throw this up and sell it somewhere. I'm not sure how much you get out of it. It looks to be a pretty lightweight handguard. You can see the gas block is affixed with 2 Allen keys. That's pretty standard. I've always maintained, as long as it's done right, they're kept tight, put some thread lock on them, you shouldn't have a problem. Some guys don't like that. They want it pinned to the barrel. I'm not one of them. I've shot a lot of ARs, a few AR47s. I haven't seen an issue with that when, again, it's done properly. If it's done improperly, anything will break. Now, there are some price point decisions on the KS47. I mentioned one already. and that is the A2 birdcage. So they're not giving you a trick flash suppressor. They're not. They're kind of leaving it up to the user. I don't have a problem with that. I think a lot of guys will put their own stuff on anyhow, and a lot of them will put on a suppressor. Good on you. That's the barrel. You're going to see when we get to accuracy, if this example again is an indication, the barrel is done right. That's interesting. Interesting. By the way, what's on the table, Nothing Fancy? I put cool stuff on the table because it's fun. We've got some jackets from some fired rounds. There's my old T38 Ace patch. This is a 1/72nd scale. We're speaking of Russian gun here. What is it? SU-100. Cool. Assault gun heavy tank. Guys who play World of Tanks will know this one. And those guys that play World of Tanks, man, they know their armor. I mean, they know the specifications. They know the history. There's a big upside to those games if they're historical in nature, whether you're flying, German aircraft, Russian tanks. Kids who play those, dude, they learn the stuff. I'm not one of them. I don't have time unless I just shut down freaking TMP. Suck less patches, shark stickers, the so relaxed AR dude in the easy chair at nutnfancy.bigcartel.com. And by the way, while you're messing around with a 2x speed, go and hit that notification bell, please, and that way you'll be notified of new videos. I will release this one early to my Patreon crowd, who also gets special content. Just $1 a month. Totally worth it. Anyone can afford that. $1 to $5 a month. More if you want. It's supporting the show. Without it, I probably would just be posting very seldom, to be honest with you. There, I said it. This is a very cool knife. It's an Inland EL06. I'm doing some giveaways. My Patreon members, some of these knives will be shipped out for sure. This is in digital tan camo. This is the black version. 9CR13 MOV I think this has, and I gemmed this one. It's kind of a hybrid knife, so I talked about it. Go look at the review on that knife. So it's cool. It's kind of a value option, and I kind of think of the the PSA KS47 as a kind of a value AR47. No, it's not that cheap. It isn't, but it's I think it's in the realm of affordability for pretty much anyone watching this video. Because if you clicked on this video, you're in the market for an AR47. I'm thinking we get a billet upper and a billet lower on the KS47. I have said in the past I much prefer forged, but here we're working with some different dimensions. And yeah, 7.62 cartridge. Here's the big benefit, one of them, of the KS47.
Put a nice comp
it takes regular AK mags.
Put a nice comp on it because it's got an A2 on it.
If you do a mix and match of KS47 components and AR-15 components, don't quote me, but I think it's a KS47 lower and an AR upper. It will take AR-47 mags, assuming you have the BCG squared away. I don't know. I haven't built it, haven't investigated it. I don't think anyone's going to do that would buy this gun. Just build your own, right? Just build your own. This one, and this is the Foot Stomper, takes AK mags. So if you have an AK variant rifle, most of them will work. Most of them. I ran steel, those worked. I ran the Magpul, those worked. I think I even ran these Tapcos, those worked. Bulgarian Circle 10s, those worked. The Palm, US Palm, those did not work. If I'm remembering. I didn't review the footage before I came to tabletop. So if I'm wrong, I'll annotate it. So, oh, drums work too on the KS47. So that's wicked cool. Getting back to the billet, dimensionally they had to change some things to get it just right. So the mag opening right here, they opted for billet. You can see the steel pin for hooking the magazine onto right there. Big old magazine release paddle, which is ambidextrous. Not super innovative because I think we saw such on the Mutant. It has something very similar. And it works very well. Interestingly, too, I don't remember us accidentally dropping a magazine, which some guys may worry about because it is right here. I mean, if you run your, your strong hand index finger parallel to the trigger area, maybe accidentally hit that, but it has a pretty good spring tension on it. I didn't notice that. It worked good. Magazine insertion we found to be pretty excellent. Doing it backwards, there we go. I mean, it's smooth. The magazine insertion and removal was just smooth and easy. About like this gun. So I want lighter weight, I want more accuracy, but I don't want to lose ergonomics in going with an AR47. And what you're seeing here is you're not going to, from what I know about this gun. Standard AR-15 trigger. You can swap it out, I believe. It pulls standard. So that is to say gritty, lots of take up, and not awesome, but it did not hinder accuracy, and it did not hinder or take away from the shooting experience that I could detect. Now the rest is standard AR-15. Safety, standard charging handle, that is a cost-saving measure. I say it on pretty much every AR pattern rifle review. I want an extended charging handle, BCM, Tomahawk style, please. But you can put that in, and I think it takes a regular AR one, again, not AR-10 pattern. Forward assist, you won't need that. Dust cover, standard. Cost-saving, A2 pistol grip, cost-saving, cheapo 6-position collapsible stock on a mil-spec tube. Carbine buffers in there too. I still like these. Isn't that weird? I still like them. I don't like look at these go, oh, that is such crap. Yeah, it wiggles. And this one actually looks like it should be put on a commercial tube. Looks like it has some slop in it, to be honest. But they work. If I bought this gun, eventually it would come off. I'll be honest with you, but I've said in other tabletop reviews, the military uses these, and you'll see them come through the armory totally thrashed, and I don't hear the troops complaining that much about them. Well, maybe now that people know about, I don't know, all the other options out there. There's a ton of them. And that's features. Oh yeah, standard pick rail. It lines up on the continuation of the handguard. I didn't see any issues there. We're running this Aero Precision mount. It is my recommended mount. It has been forever. I buy them on Amazon. Link below. I think about 80 bucks. Weighs almost nothing. So simple. And then the scope is a Leopold. You can see it. VXR 4-12. The whole weight, you can see my indicator on there, 18.5 ounces. That's for the mount and the scope. How cool is that? And this is an illuminated scope. It's a fire dot, I believe.
Come on, SST.
There's your features, dude. Simple. Simple. So it's an AR-47. It's an AK variant rifle. I think the major stuff they got right, which is the barrel and the handguard. The other stuff is easily swappable if it annoys you. You know, flash hider, pistol grip, stock, trigger too, probably. I probably would put a different trigger in. Enough said on that, though.
Really good.
How did it shoot? You may have already surmised how it shot. Wonderfully. I'm happy to report. I told you this would be a fun GRV. Happy to report. It shot great. I can't remember any stoppages in the Palmetto State Armory KS47. I don't remember any. I mean, again, if I go back and I remember one, or find one, I should say, I'll throw it in and I'll annotate it. And that has happened before. Sorry, I'm human. I forget. But our overall takeaway, the crew and I, in shooting this gun, I didn't shoot like extensively. Probably about 500 rounds is all. It shot great. It was smooth. It worked great. I didn't have any hiccups at all. No jams. No cases stuck in the barrel. And also, you might be wondering, how does it run with hard primer ammunition, surplus ammo, which you may have in stock? Well, PSA says it has an extended firing pin in it already, I presume to pierce those primers even more. And the answer is it worked 100% in our firing. I ran Tulama, which I really hate. I hate Tulama ammo. Maybe there was something with Tulama, but anytime Tulama goes down, I blame the ammo. Now, if it has a problem with Wolf, Silver Bear, Golden Bear, and some other varieties like Hornady SST, then that's kind of a fail in my book because those have been reliable out of this gun. Again, this is a standard of measure. This gun. So the reliability standard of measure is sitting right there in front of y'all's eyes. I mean, this thing is reliable. It doesn't matter what you put in it. As long as the cartridge is put together right, like the primer seated decently, within a wide specification, this AK variant rifle will fire it off. Now, only time will tell if this matches that in terms of long-term track record reliability. And the only thing that can do that are thousands of rounds this gun put into many hands. That I don't have data-wise. I can't do that. I don't have time. I don't have interest to do that. I give you an initial data point, bros. That's what I do. By the way, the watch for the review is my favorite diver to this point. Discontinued. Eat your heart out. Go out and find it if you can. It is a deep blue Master 1000 with orange sword hands. Seiko automatic movement. Sapphire anti-reflective coated. A perfect, precise bezel. Oh my gosh, I love this watch. I have a couple other colors too. A couple on loan as well. Screw down crown, water resistant to 200 meters. It's wearing a Barton canvas strap in powder blue. Woo, that is a good looking watch. It makes me happy. Sorry, mini watch review. And then on this hand, dudes, I got parachute colors on the iWatch. Yeah, I've got orange and OD. This makes me happy. This is not a watch to me, it's a wrist computer, and I'm usually on a different screen. There you go. It's the way I roll. Oh, by the way, I wear a fanny pack too. Deal with it. Hey, M4 feed ramps in this. It's kind of an M4 style gun, albeit not in the barrel. Thank you very much. So glad. So glad. And then shooting was enjoyable. It was super fun. And here's the accuracy. And this is where it really, in my book, kicks up. That and also the reliability. Look at this, dudes. Holy cow. Now, this is one of those shoots that is not sponsored by Federal Premium. I do get boxes, just a couple boxes of ammo via Gunnies, a great American gun store, who I check this gun out from, and you should go give them your business. And their information is below, and you can look them up online. Thank you, Wyatt, for supporting the project. And sometimes Federal will support me, but not on this one. I just didn't get any 7.6239 ammo, so I had to shoot out a stash. So you're going to see a little bit of everything. I alluded to that earlier. My go-to warload in 7.6239, albeit it's not the fastest, but it is the most accurate, is the Hornady SST. Look at this. Holy freak, that's MOA, bros. Out of a AR47? Don't know what load this was. Tulamo. What? If this gun was shooting Tulamo, it would look like a shotgun. It would look like this, and that's with perfect trigger pulls. Look at this. Tulamo. Red Army. That stuff shoots like crap out of everything. It's shooting probably 1.5 MOA there. Hornady SST, I wrote amazing. 100% wow. That's what I'd say. It's just wow to me, dudes. Norm Attack. Make sure I'm saying the right one. Oops, wrong target. Crap, man, I thought I had another target here. Yeah, I may have misplaced it. If I find it somewhere in the review, I'm talking another target, I'll just inset it. The other one I was going to show you was for another gun. I don't want to spoil it yet. The accuracy from my testing is superb. So remember the two questions. Okay, for me to pursue an AR47 platform, to migrate away, maybe sell, maybe replace, maybe put this in the system versus that, what? There were three actually, but the big two were lighter weight, more accuracy, and then I'm going to throw in there the value equation, cost effectiveness. This meets all three, from what I know. The Palmetto KS47 is a win, and I'm so glad to come to Tabletop to say this. Now, listen, dudes, the manufacturers don't know what to make of me because I'm very independent. I mean, I'm not in their court at all. I'm in the court of my viewers. These days, especially my Patreon members, I am serving those guys with the best information I can come out with, or most entertaining videos I can come out with. That's where my loyalty lies. Sometimes, like Palmetto, I'll give them a negative review, like on that AR-15 that didn't shoot so great. And here we go, redemption. They don't know what to make of me. They're like, hey man, sometimes it's a negative review on our products and sometimes he loves them. It just depends on what you're putting together. It's just like my favorite musicians, my favorite artists. I mean, there's a lot of songs that they will sing that I hate, but there's others that I absolutely love. Are you like that too?
Okay, now.
You might be, oh, by the way, I'm not breaking it open. It's an 11-ounce BCG. It's AR-15 style. It's got some milling on the side. Okay, I'll break it open. Break it open, nothing. It only take a second. Okay. I'll just show you a little bit. The reason I don't is because I don't like getting my reviewing table all greased up, because it's time for me to, never mind, just taking it all apart and clean it takes like 2 hours. Here we go. This is what I was telling you right there. So it's got some unusual milling right here, but notice it's an AR style bolt, right? It's an AR style bolt, not an AR10 style. State gas key. Remember the materials. I think I said them earlier. It is a 9310 steel bolt, 8620 carrier, grade 8 bolt, so mil spec. How durable will this be? Who knows? You know, again, it's track record just takes a while. Would I buy it? Yeah, I'll buy it, and I'm actually going to buy this one. That's the plan, because I want in cast for Soldier Boy, for whatever, a reliable AR47. That's fun to me. That's fun. I think that you know, is a standard of measure, and I honestly had kind of given up hope. So when I went to Gunnies and we're going through the store, and I'm like, man, I really want to find an AR47 that works. I had done some research on the KS47. I was like, do you have one? He's like, yeah, we do. And I was completely stoked. I was like, cool, I'm checking that out and we're going to run it. And I got my fingers double crossed. Would I buy it? Yes, absolutely. Other alternatives, roll your own, just like we said. You could roll your own and roll the dice at the same time, because maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I'm not saying the guys don't put them together where they don't just work awesome. They do. But, I mean, I can't just review that dude's gun. I guess I could, but it's more difficult. I like factory-produced rifles for GRVs because it's a consistent, known quantity that a viewer can replicate. You can go, I want that gun, I want that performance. You just buy it. You buy the KS47. Price, I didn't write down, so I'm not going to say it on camera, but it's going to be comparable to an AR-15 built the same way. So I don't look at this, the level of pricing, when I researched it earlier, I was like, yeah, that's in the ballpark. That's about the same price as an AR-15 of that style. Granted, we don't have great furniture, and the components on this are not great. 1, 2, 3. There's some cost savings going on, for sure. But the core is competent. The core is competent. Competitive options. Where am I at time-wise? Well, about what I suspected, about 30 minutes. I'm going to wrap it up. Competitive options would be the Mutant. I still don't recommend that. The Rock River, don't recommend that one. And some other options that I'm forgetting. So I'm just trying to wrap it up. The real option is an AK variant rifle. Still awesome in my book, 0 to 100 meters, maybe 0 to 200 meters. Definitely minute of man, no problem. But the accuracy and the weight, when you outfit it with glass, not so great. If you go with irons and you don't put an RS Regulate or whatever optic system on there, you're going to save a lot of weight. So now you're going to be at about 7 pounds for sure. But you do not have the versatility and the accuracy of an optic system. You can go with a reflex red dot sight. That'll save weight. The philosophy of use on this, I did say 0 to 200. I kind of didn't tell you what the real setup of this is. It is actually beyond that for Soldier Boy. This is kind of set up as a Soldier Boy crew member that I have a 1 to 7 power scope on. But the other ones I brought to tabletop, definitely 0 to 100 meters. Yeah, would I migrate to this? What I would do is I would run this concurrently. So I would put a lot more rounds through this in a lot more situations, hot weather, cold weather. Granted, I have some really cool places I'm able to shoot. I'm blessed. I show you that on camera. You probably have a range, but nevertheless, you could still put rounds through it and just see how it does. If, you know, 1,000 rounds you go through it and you do concurrent research and say, hey, this is a good gun, the answer is yes, I'd replace it. I'd start running a KS47. Because this is an amazing gun. It really is kind of talking about philosophy of use, which I glossed over a little bit. This is really kind of a precision rifle, isn't it? I mean, you saw what that Horny SST is shooting. I mean, that's MOA, dude. So you have a much lighter 30 caliber platform. Not as powerful as a 7.62 for sure. But I would feel comfortable out to 200 meters for sure shooting the KS47 and you know, a precision scenario. Again, you'd have to test with the ammo and make sure, get your depth down and stuff. But from what we've seen, it is an achievement. The KS47 is reliable. I think it's cost effective, and it's very, very accurate from what we see. I loved it. Nutnfancy.